Good day, Ma'am Helen. We are the Group 5. We're here to present about the experimental research. Next. Introduction about experimental research. Experimental research is a study conducted with a scientific approach using two sets of variables. The first set acts as a constants which you use to measure the differences of the second set, quantitative research methods, and the next is research question. Focus on a single problem or issue. Researchable using primary and or secondary sources. Feasible to answer within the time frame and practical constraints. Specific enough to answer truly. Complex enough to develop the answer over the space of a paper or thesis. Relevant to your field of study and our society more broadly. Next, yeah. And the third of background about experimental research is the background of the study usually includes a discussion of the relevant literature, the gap in knowledge or understanding, and the research questions or hypotheses to be addressed. Experimental research helps a researcher gather the necessary data for making better research decision and determine determining the facts of a research study. And the next year. Research of methods. Define problem, clearly state research question and relationship. Review literature. Study existing research and methodologies. Form hypothesis. Predict relationship between variables. Design experiment. Choose a suitable experimental design. And the next presenter that would be Eric Vertudazzo.
Data collection. Experimental research systematically examines the impact of manipulated variables on a dependent variable. Methods include observation, surveys, psychological tests, psychological measurements, experimental tasks, and archive data. Observation records behaviors in controlled settings. Survey collect attitudes and opinions. Tests assess cognitive abilities and emotions. Psychological measurements provide objective data and experimental tasks measure performance. Next, yeah, Paleo. And for data analysis, in experimental research, common analytical tools include descriptive statistics, mean, median, or etc., inferential statistics, or t-test, ANOVA, correlation analysis, regression analysis, chi-square tests, and factor analysis. Researchers use statistical software like SPSS, SAS, R, or Python for data analysis and interpretation. The choice depends on research question and data types. Next slide, yeah. And here's for examples. Independent variable on a specific medical condition symptoms. Use randomly assigning a patients to drug and placebo groups. Researchers compare outcomes to establish the drug's impact, demonstrating cause and effect. Next example is independent variable on students' academic performance. And by manipulating sleep duration and measuring performance, researchers establish a direct link between and academic achievement. And for the last example, teaching method scenario. Comparing teaching methods for improving students' math skills and use different classes experience varied methods, allowing researchers to identify the most effective approach through controlled experimentation. The next presenter will be Christian by Arola.
Challenge, challenges and limitations. Ethical concern ensure participant safety and informed consent. External validity. Limited generalizability to real-world scenarios. Demand characteristic. participants altering behavior due to awareness. Sample representativeness, limited sample might not reflect entire population. Conclusion: experimental research is often the final form of a study conducted in research process which is considered to provide conclusive and specific results. But it is not meant for every research. It involves a lot of resources, time and money, and it's not easy to conduct unless a foundation of research is built. Yet it is widely used in research institutes and commercial industries for its most conclusive result in the scientific approach.
And the reference of our study. And that would be all our presentation about experimental research.